Elden Ring has so many weapons! Next you will see the craziest weapons you've never seen. First up we have the Celebrant's Ribbrake. This is a nice dexterity scaling spear that is farmed in the windmill village in the Altus Plateau, and it's dropped by these crazy dancing women. This is a customizable spear, meaning that you can put any Ash of War on it. It's upgraded with regular smithing stones. As a spear it's relatively average in damage and range. Moveset wise it's also not very special either, although when you use its Ash of War, the heavy attacks put you in a rampage. This thing's special thing is that when you hit an enemy with this spear, it gives you 10 runes per hit. It's a small and funny gimmick, but nothing else. But damn, you can't lie, this thing looks goofy as all hell. Next up is the Celebrant's CLEAVER. This is a mainly strength scaling axe. It's customizable, so you can try out a ton of Ashes of War on it. This is also farmed on the windmill village by killing the crazy women. It's also got some mostly useless effect where it gives you 10 runes per strike. It's a pretty average axe that doesn't do crazy damage. Where this axe shines above the others is in its heavy attack. It's a super useful attack because when you start running forward and you do nice damage. This is very nice gap closer and it does very nice poise damage, and you look ridiculous while you do it. One of the more funnier weapons on this list is the family heads. It's a flail made out of skulls. It scales mostly with dexterity, but has a pretty high intelligence requirement for some reason. It is upgraded with somber smithing stone, so that means you can't change its Ash of War. Thankfully the Ash of War is already pretty nice, but it takes a while to activate fully. It shoots these exploding skulls that deal a good amount of damage. This weapon is dropped by a secret NPC fight in the Sage's Cave in the Altus Plateau behind an illusory wall. This is the list's first weapon that you don't have to farm, and it's the CINQUEDEA. It's a sleek looking strength scaling dagger that boosts bestial incantations, so if you really like using them, then having this is pretty useful. It also does decent damage for a dagger, so you can also use it as an actual weapon. This is found in the Bestial Sanctum in Caelid, but it's not customizable, but it does have the quickstep Ash of War, so you can get out of sticky situations. Thankfully it's upgraded with somber smithing stone, so it's easier to upgrade. And if you take a closer look, you can see that this dagger is used by the Beast Clergyman boss. Next up on the list is the Clayman's Harppoon. It's an intelligence and strength spear that is farmed from the decaying guys in the underground Siofra River and Ainsel River. It does decent damage for a split damage spear. It also looks visually quite nice. It's not a very unique weapon moveset wise, but thankfully it is customizable, so you can put anything on it you want. One thing that this spear is really good at is inflicting frost, because it already has magic damage on it, so you're not losing any damage in exchange for frost buildup. But you do have to put the frost on it. Next up on this list is the Magma Blade. It's a very powerful curved sword dropped by the Serpent people in the Volcano Manor. It scales off of strength, face and dexterity, but if you wanna use this weapon, then it's not necessary to have all those 3 stats high. It's a very powerful weapon with an even more powerful Ash of War. It's essentially the spinning slash Ash of War, but it drops lava on the ground. It also does significantly more damage. This sword is one of my favorite weapons because it looks distinguishable from the Elden Ring's other weapons. Lastly we have the Noblesse Slender ESTOC. It's a rapier and it's farmed from the nobles who wield it. It's a pain to farm because the drop rate is so low, like the other sword they drop. This is a customizable weapon as well, so you can slap any Ash of War on it you like. Otherwise it's got the second best range for rapier sitting behind the regular ESTOC. Well anyway, that's the video. Like and subscribe so that I don't have to get a real job like ever. Goodbye, bye bye.